The effects of the Transcontinental Railroad. By the late 19th century and early 20th century, many main lines as well as branch lines had popped up as a result of the Transcontinental Railroad. Also, as a result of the Transcontinental Railroad, many other smaller railroads began to pop up. In the late 19th century, the Santa Fe became to be. This is along with the Pennsylvania, the Rio Grande, the Southern Pacific, and many other well-known railroads. Also, around the turn of the century, many railroads started to carry passengers as well as freight. By the Roaring '20s, the railroads all across America were booming. They had just been used to help win World War I, and the railroads were absolutely proud. Unfortunately, though, for the railroads, as the '20s came to a close and the '30s came to an open, there was a Great Depression that fell across the American economic system. As passengers and freight service consumers could no longer afford the railroad services, the railroad began to struggle financially. Locomotives that had been broken down could no longer be afforded to be repaired, and therefore had to be sold for scrap. This was a feeble measure, as the railroads tried to get as much revenue as they possibly could. However, by the end of the 1930s and the opening of the 1940s, there dawned a new era upon the railroads as we know them today. By the beginning of the 1940s, it was already imminent that the world was at an impending war. And on December 7th, 1941, that impending war turned into a confirmed war. As war is a bad thing, there's a silver lining to everything. The United States had been finally pulled out of its economic depression. The railroads started flourishing once again. As the war raged, there was a great demand for coal. The coal would be used to power war machines as well as the railroad itself. Locomotives such as the 2884 Yellowstone class, the 4664 Challenger class, and the world's biggest steam locomotive, the 4884 Big Boy, would be used to carry coal. These locomotives' primary use would be used to carry 2-mile-long coal trains over the mountains in Cheyenne. After this, the war finally came to a close, and the railroads resumed their normal tasks. There was finally money pumping through the economic system once more, and the railroads had plenty of customers to go around to make improvements. They came out and started using diesel power rather than the previous steam that had dominated the Transcontinental Railroad. Diesels were more efficient and much cleaner. They were cheaper to run and required less maintenance. Another plus to the use of diesel power was that they could go much further without the need of refueling. They required only diesel instead of coal and water, and they could be refueled much quicker. Because of this, a slow transition took place between steam and diesel power. And since then, the Transcontinental Railroad has aged and morphed into what as we see it today. Thank you.